the U.S. has tolerated it. But in 1980, we produced 28% of what we used in America. Today, it's about 9%. So what are we going to export? There's very little left to export. I did a survey about a year ago, and I found that if we exported to an optimum, with the same general situation we have in the economy now, that we would gain 0.5% of GDP, which is, 0.50, which is hardly, an improvement. We are not going to export our way out of trouble. Now, the Chinese could import, but the Chinese really don't care about anybody but themselves. They've been manipulating their currency for years. They, quite frankly, don't like Americans collectively. It's a communist government, and no matter which way you cut it, they certainly don't agree with a lot of the things that we do, even though they do participate. The bottom line is the Chinese have been selling U.S. Treasuries for about 6 months on a net basis, around $25 to $75 billion worth a month. And at that, their dollar-denominated assets were about 1.6 trillion. They're down to 1.1 trillion, and it'll take them about a year and 2 months to get rid of the rest of the dollars. They're selling treasuries, they're buying gold, they're buying commodities hand over fist. And so what they're doing is for China. They don't give a darn about the United States. And China also, like the U.S., lies about all their statistics.
All right, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 30 seconds, just a 30-second break for your call letters for your stations. This is Drew Rains, a Marines Disquisition. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Drew Rains and Bob Chapman with the InternationalForecaster.com. That's the, T-H-E, InternationalForecaster.com. We will have phone numbers and locations at the end of the show with commercial. We're trying to get the nets up. We're trying to get phone bridges up around the world. Those of you that are coming on with the Swedish phone bridge, we apologize for that 15-minute delay. For those of you that have heard the show from the beginning, you know that we had some problems at the beginning of the show. But as Marine conditions work, we get the show going. We don't quit. We don't walk away and throw our hands up. This network, the Wind Talkers Network, is nothing but individually, privately owned radio stations around the world, and we utilize the Internet and Skype as well as help from Blog Talk Radio. With that said, I welcome back Mr. Bob Chapman, and hopefully we can take care of those problems with the echo, Mr. Chapman.
I don't hear it, so I guess we don't have it.
Outstanding. We didn't know. We didn't know if we still had it out there or not. Thank you very much. Continue with what you were saying. I'm sorry I had to rudely interrupt you, but I had an Irish woman over in Ireland just jumping all over me to take a break.
Well, those Irish women are very forward. They let you know what they think.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got the echo back. Tell the Irish lady we got the echo back.
We'll see what we can do.
But we were talking about...
Go ahead.
No, that's worse. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Great.
Okay. About China. China's got, as they say, beaucoup problems. And first of all, they just pushed $1.8 trillion into their economy in a 6-month period. They're going to have some serious inflation. And a good part of the money went into the stock market and real estate. Stock market went up 84%. Real estate doubled. I mean, in a 6-month period. I mean, this is crazy. It just shows you how they understand economics, which obviously they don't understand it very well. And, the economy is just hot as a firecracker. But what are they going to do for an encore? They have 30 million permanent employees unemployed. Then I have another 50 million that were moving from one job to another. They're unemployed. They get 80 million people unemployed. Now, the government has to be really concerned, and that's why they did this, infusion of capital into the economy, and they didn't figure that a good part of it would go in to gambling in real estate and the stock market. And most of the gambling is being done by members of the Communist Party, incidentally, because they're the ones that get all their loans and all the other breaks. And so China has got a real internal problem. You saw the riots going on in Western China maybe a month ago, month and a half. And the people who are running the country are afraid they're going to have a revolution. So that's what that's all about. So China's got plenty of problems. And they're not going to import. They're only going to import what they have to. And they don't care whether the United States has goods that they want or not. Unless they want them, they're not going to take them.
I understand. I have Mary from Illinois chiming in. She wants to know if you have any input or knowledge about a bank holiday coming up around sometime next week. I'm not going to give a specific date. She just thinks it's next week.
Okay. I'm going to give you a little story here. Back in early May, I predicted that the dollar, which at that time was 89.5, today it's 78 point something. 78.14 or something like that. I just gave it to you earlier. So the dollar has gone down, and I think it's going down to its support level at 71.18. I knew that now it's 4 mandatory shots for the swine flu, and I knew that probably 1/3 to 1/2 of the people in the country are going to refuse to take them. So there's going to be a lot of chaos going on socially, in the media. We got the dollar coming down, and we can reflect back to the U.S. government sending large amounts of U.S. cash to embassies throughout the world. The only reason they do that is they expect the dollar to get down, and they expect foreigners, particularly businessmen, not to want to accept dollars. And that's why they did that. At least that's my take on it. And so you have a lower dollar, you have pressure, people don't want it. You have all of this argument going on about the shots, people evidently saying, I'm not going to be poisoned by you scumbags. And so I said, now I'm the one that started this, I said it would be a good time for the people who control the United States government to run a beta test by closing banks for a very short period of time, perhaps closing on Thursday afternoon and opening up again on Tuesday morning, something like that. Well, we get those people out there who are sensationalists, and they've distorted the whole thing. Now, I thought there was a 50-50 chance of that happening. In May, I talked about it.
Yes,
now,
sir. I stand by you. You actually said you thought it might happen, but only for 2 to 3 days max.
Right. And so the next step here is the people out there and the different industries that are on radio, on the Internet. One of them says, well, it's going to happen on the devaluation on August 9th, and it's August 15th, then it's August 26th, and then it's September the 6th. They're over Labor Day. They're crazy. And they're saying they have people in the CIA who are telling them that this is going to happen. They're full of crap. It's just in plain English. And I'll tell you something, you know, the misrepresentation in the media is awful. And if I'm wrong, I admit it. But I will never say anything without qualifying it. And I said maybe. Now that the administration's in deep trouble over their legislation, the town hall meetings, I mean, these congressmen get ripped to pieces, you know, figuratively. And so they're kind of on the run. And I don't think because of that they will dare try a bank holiday in September or October. And I think they're going to have to pass on it this time because there's too much going on. And besides, there's too many people on the Internet who know about what I said in the first place. And, of course, you have the distortion that came after it. So what do I see? I see maybe as much as half of the people in America refusing shots. Is the government going to pick up 150 million people and put them in internment camps? I don't think so. So what I think is going to happen, and don't you take the shots. God knows what's in them. Unless you're ordered to in the military, and if you are, I don't know what you can do about it because I forget some of the rules. But the point is it's going to happen, and the dollar is going to go down.